Hello, this is Kevin Parker from Tame Impala, and you are watching Click Talk.
Let's go. Walk it like I talk it. Walk it. Walk it like I talk it. You. Walk it like I talk it. Walk it like I talk it. Hey.
Hello, Kevin. How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Thank you for being here. Kevin Parker, you are the man behind the name Tame Impala. By that I mean that the rest of the band recognizes the fact that you're the one thinking and producing the records before they're out. This album is called The Slow Rush. How easy was it to take it slow?
Well, it's easy. It's always easy to take it slow, you know. But it's difficult to move quickly, you know. Like, it's always easy to go back and do things all the time, you know. Do things over and over and over again. But I mean, like, at the end of the day, I go at my own speed, you know.
The reason I'm asking this is because we are in February 2020. The album is about to go out, and you actually announced that the album would be released more than 1 year ago.
Yeah.
So was it a way to put pressures on yourselves, or?
Yeah, in a way. Like, I think there were probably like 5 different deadlines for myself that I put on myself that I missed. Like, I wanted to have it out by this festival, and then I missed that deadline. Then I wanted to release it for this festival, and I missed it, you know. So there were like different points along the way where I really wanted to have it finished, but I just needed more time.
The other reason I'm asking this is because now we're at the speed in the music world, where one band has to release new tracks every other week just to stay people's minds. Do you feel like pushed to rush yourself to stay in the public space?
I think so. I mean, like, I don't know. I feel like if you're memorable enough, or if your music's like touches people enough, then they'll remember you. You know, like I definitely like worry that I won't be relevant one day, or that people will forget about me. But you know, at the end of the day, I like to think my fans will wait for me. You know,
I'm going to discuss about them. The first track that you put out for this album was in last fall. It's called "This Might Be Time."
Sounds good on these speakers. Sounds all right.
It sounds very good, actually. Correct me if I'm wrong, but to me, this track is about getting old, the fear of getting old without even noticing it. Is that a fear that you have as a musician?
Only sometimes. I mean, like, this song's meant to be kind of, you know, a bit fun. It's not. I'm not being like dead serious, especially because, like, you know, like things like age, like, they should never be something that make you want to stop, or like think that you've got to face at any time. You know, like, I'm really just like singing about paranoid thoughts. You know,
that you
it's like them singing at you, but it's not something that I like think that anyone should ever worry about. But it's also like, it's not really about like getting old. It's about like at any point in your life thinking that like you've lost it. You know, it can be like, you know, thinking that like you were a cool kid in high school and now you're at college. You don't have it anymore, you know what I mean?
Do you still feel cool?
Occasionally. Yeah, sure. Everyone does sometimes, right?
The first words in this album that one could hear is, do you remember we were standing here a year ago? How fast do you feel the world is turning around you?
I think it's one of those things, like, time always feels like it's going faster, you know? And it's funny because everyone always talks about it, you know? Like, man, this year went faster than last. And it feels like every year has gone faster than the last. Yeah. But that's kind of like, it's universal, you know?
What did change for you in the last 10 years since In a Speaker went out, your first record?
Well, a lot, you know. I mean, so much physically, but and like, you know, I've evolved as a person as much as I hope I would have evolved if I was doing something totally different. But yeah, so much.
So I have a different question. What hasn't changed for you in the past years?
What hasn't changed? I guess me at the core, you know, like I still have self-doubt, still wake up in the morning feeling like a piece of shit.
Really?
What do you mean, really? Yeah, of course. Who doesn't?
Yeah, but when you have like 3 and then 4 pretty good albums out, I you know, I haven't ever been a rock star, but I would figure that when you're one, you feel good sometimes about yourself.
Yeah, but even Kanye West would wake up feeling like a piece of shit sometimes, you know? Like if what we know about people and like self-esteem and even like mental illness and stuff these days is that like there's no physical, nothing you can have or have achieved that will make you immune from self-doubt, you know? Like no position or anything you're in life or fantastic life that you have or it looks like you have, nothing like that will stop you from waking up feeling like a piece of shit sometimes, you know?
Yeah. I'd say that one thing has changed, once again, correct me if I'm wrong, but in the 10 last years, you actually became a live band. At the beginning of your career, you would say that you were kind of afraid or ill at ease at the idea of getting on stage. And actually, last year, you were at the French festival We Love Green.
Yeah.
And everybody would say that the best performance this year was yours.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean,
amazing.
I mean, it was said a lot I was there,
Uh-huh.
and so many people would say that on, you know, social networks and even on the press.
That's really nice.
So how do you actually become a live band?
Well, I mean, like I'd always been playing in my home city in like the live music, like bars and.
Home city is Sydney, right? In Australia, right?
In Australia, yeah.
Yeah.
In Perth. So I was always in lots of bands, and you know, like I wasn't always the singer or whatever. And so Tame Impala was kind of the first time that I had to become like a front man, you know, and that's just something I never really knew how to do. Especially with like making music that was more and more personal to me. It felt kind of like it was easy to do in the studio because in the studio I don't think about anyone else, I don't think about audiences, but you know, I think I got a bit like self-conscious about singing my lyrics in front of audiences. But like after a while, I kind of just decided that I was going to have fun with it, you know, and not worry about whether I looked silly or whether I looked cool or whatever.
And so now you're able to have fun on stage?
Yeah, it's one of my favorite things to do, you know. Like I never thought I'd think that, but it's just, yeah.
So in the 10 last years, you got very busy. What does Kevin Parker do when he's not making music?
I don't know, I've forgotten.
Is everything in your life Tame Impala oriented?
Almost, yeah.
So you announced, as I said, the release of the record in January 2019, and then you posted a video in October to tease it. The Slow Rush is your 4th album in 10 years. Mm-hmm. And when actually I see these images, it feels like it's very easy for you to go back to the studio and create. Mm. It's like probably the most painful things for many artists.
Right, maybe.
But it's easy for you?
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of, in a way, it's kind of the easiest place for me to be. I just love it so much. It's where anything's possible, you know? It's my chocolate factory.
Everybody has a word to define your music. I've read psyche, I've read neo-psyche, I've read dream pop, I've read Beatlesque.
Yep.
If I would have to pick a word to define your album, I would say powerful.
Oh, thank you.
It's very hard to resist the tracks on this album. Was it a goal for you?
Very hard to...
To make an album that everybody would be impacted by?
Well, I mean, it's always... all I can hope is that I make music that impacts me. And of course I want to make a powerful album and impactful. But it's a fine line because you don't want to. I don't want to overdo it. You know, like it's so easy to. It's so easy to overdo, like boldness and power, and just make it like ugh.
Yeah,
something
a
that
wall of
people,
sound. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you know, it's a fine line between too safe and too much.
People would often ask you how pop is your music.
How pop?
How pop? How pop do you want it to be?
Oh, good question. Very pop. I mean, I've always considered my music to be really pop because, like, the music that I started out making, well, not started out making, but the music that I've made for a long time with my friends, like growing up and stuff, was all pretty experimental. So even the early Tame Impala stuff that got released, like amongst my friends, that was kind of like the pop music, you know, because we had songs that go for like 14 minutes and stuff, 20 minutes. So for me and for us, Tame's always been like really pop, you know. I've always been like the pop guy, the pop princess, which is a title that I wear gladly.
I really do not feel legit enough to say that it's your best record, but I feel legit enough to say that it's my favorite one.
Okay.
Do you have one record by Tame Impala that is your favorite, or is it like to choose between your different kids?
It's much more like choosing between your favorite kids. I mean, I don't even know. Do parents have favorite kids and don't really tell anyone, or they just genuinely? I genuinely no. I mean, it's usually just the last one I did. So, for me, my favorite one is this one easily. Yeah, I don't know. Ask me in like 50 years.
Okay, so you'll come back in 50 years.
Ask me in 50 years, and I'll have a
proper answer
for you.
Actually, I think, and once again, it's the third time I've been saying it, but correct me if I'm wrong. In fall 2018, you escaped from a huge wildfire in California. I've even read that you lost some of your gear there.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a cause for the huge, we're on the borderline, everything could disappear in a minute feeling that someone could feel listening to the album?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I don't think, at least not consciously, I didn't let the fire influence too much in the music, especially because, like...
Can you tell us just what happened exactly?
Well, I mean, I was renting an Airbnb in Malibu, because I go away sometimes, just for like songwriting trips, you know. I just kind of disappear for a few days and just take some musical equipment. And so I was living in LA at the time. And yeah, so I got there the night before. It was really windy. Like I was like, didn't think Malibu was usually windy. Anyway, so I got to bed pretty late and I woke up the next morning and it was all happening, really. It was just crazy. Like I'd never experienced anything like it. There was just smoke and stuff everywhere. And I checked my phone and it said like Malibu evacuation.
Burning.
Yeah, so I just got out, I got my car and drove off. That's basically it. The extent to which it affected me was just like so small compared to other people in the area. Like people lost houses and
of course,
pets and lives and stuff. You know, like I lost a little bit of musical equipment, but it was really, really tiny compared to some people. So I feel like for me to talk about it, like it was this big thing.
Okay,
I just feel a bit like it's not really my, you know.
It was just an Airbnb.
Yeah, it was. I mean, whoever's house I was staying in, they lost their house. So.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I mean, like, on the grand scheme of things, you know.
Okay.
It was crazy. It was a crazy experience.
So actually, before moving to LA, you used to live in Paris. Am I right?
Yeah. Yeah, for a year.
And then you go. What did we do to repulse you?
Nothing. Well, you know what? I finished Lonerism here, so I had to go home to practice with the guys to rehearse for touring.
Prepare the tour, yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, like, I love living here so much, and every time I come back, it's just like waves and waves of nostalgia.
So how was your French?
It's not too bad. I've forgotten everything. J'ai tout oublié.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, it's perfect. Actually, one member of the band, Julien Barbagallo,
Yeah.
is French.
He's French.
Actually, I've read an interview with him when he says that it's sometimes hard for Australian band to succeed abroad because then you go back in Australia and people will look at you like you're going to despise them. Is that a way? Is that a thing that you feel in Australia?
Well, I mean, Australia, we have this thing called tall poppies. I'm not sure what you call it in French. Tall poppies is like when someone gets successful, everyone else that doesn't, like, chops them down. Like a poppy is like a flower, so if one gets tall, everyone chops it down. So we have a bit of that in Australia, and yeah, I mean, it's fine. I don't get it that bad compared to some people. Some people get it really bad, and it's so stupid, such a stupid thing in society. But yeah,
You said it earlier, but you're from Perth, where there is actually a pretty vivid musical scene in Perth. How close are you to the scene? Are you still like the Big Brother band, or?
I don't know. I haven't really. I've been kind of out of the loop recently.
Yeah. Have you heard about this band, which is getting big this last month, Methyl Ethane?
What are they called?
Methyl Ethane.
Oh, Methyl Ethel.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of the guys actually lives in a house that I used to rent.
Oh, really?
Oh, he lived there for a while, yeah.
So you, without even not knowing it, you've been mentoring it?
Maybe to some small extent. We, like, paved a small amount of the way for, like, other Perth kind of psych rockers to get noticed in the world. But no, like, they're such talented guys that.
Yeah, they are.
They've done it themselves. You know.
Actually,
they're nice guys, though.
One of your most popular track in Australia, in France, in everywhere in the world, was on the record Currents, released in 2015. Mm-hmm. Its name is, of course, The Less I Know, The Better.
Mm-hmm.
You once said that you knew right after playing for the first time that this track would be a hit. I could say actually that about half of the tracks on this new record. But how important is it for you to create songs that are immediately effective?
Well, I mean, to me, like, whenever I do a song that I love, to me, it's always, like, immediately effective. Like, I wouldn't finish a song.
You are your first audience, right?
Exactly. And, like, I love that time when I'm my only audience. Because until I play it to someone else...
The track is good.
Hey?
The track is good.
Until I play it to someone else, the track is the best track that's ever been written. You know? Like, this track could just make the entire world fall in love with everyone else. You know? Like the possibilities are limitless. And then, I'll play it to my friend, and then he'll be like, yeah, that's all right. You know? And then I put the song into a realistic thing of where it can be. But until I play it to anyone, the potential is limitless.
You once said, I'm trying to work out why people love us. Have you figured it out yet?
Not exactly. Not yet. I mean, it's not something that I, like, think about all day. Because at the end of the day, like, if I knew exactly why people liked my music, then I'd probably know too much. And then I'd, like... Then it'd be too calculated. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
So it's good that it's not. It's good not to be calculated, not to know. It's good to kind of not really know what you're doing.
In the song Borderline, which is on the new record, The Slow Rush, you ask, "Will I be known and loved?" Is that a question that you really ask about yourself, or?
No, that chorus in particular is pretty stream of consciousness. Like, like I was kind of just singing whatever for that chorus because I just wanted it to be kind of like, what's it like robot kind of singing, you know. So I can't really stand behind those lyrics.
Okay.
Too much, and that song I wouldn't read into too much. It's kind of like I was kind of just singing whatever in the chorus, is whatever sounded cool. I just wanted to. Yeah, I didn't want to get bogged down by the lyrics in that one. I kind of just wanted to sing the words as they come out. So like, I mean, like, yeah, will I be known and loved? I think I meant that more in a sense of like, will people around me love me? Not so much like, will the whole world love me?
Do you have an answer to that question?
No. No.
I've read somewhere that you were actually a big fan of the Colombian writer Gabriel Garcia Marquez.
Oh, sure, yeah.
So actually, it's funny because as I was preparing this interview, I was reading a book by him.
Yeah.
In this book, which is called in France, Mémoires de mes putains tristes, that's Memories from My Sad Prostitutes, I would say in English.
Oh, okay, yeah, I've heard that
There's
one.
a quote that I liked. It is, fame is like a big fat lady who never sleeps with you, but that you find staring at you when you wake up.
Wow.
Is that how you feel about fame?
Sure. I mean, there are so many ways to interpret fame or whatever comes with fame, success. Will never sleep with me, but it's always staring at me when I wake up.
I like the big fat lady part.
Oh, sure, big fat lady. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's many things.
What kind of connections do you have with your fans?
I don't know. Well, it's funny because I only really connect with them when I play live or when I like go outside after a show and see them. You know, like I read like comments on Instagram and stuff, but
Yeah.
It's about it really. Other than that, I kind of just hope that they keep enjoying what I'm putting out.
Do you actually know that one of your fans has won an Oscar?
Sorry? An Oscar? Really?
Yeah.
Who's that?
So who's that? I'm talking about Barry Jenkins, the director of Moonlight.
Oh.
He talked about your music
Really?
in an interview that he did with us a couple of years ago.
Really?
I would like to forget Moonlight for a moment. Give me just your top five songs.
Top 5 songs ever? Bruh, you
Right
tripping.
now, right now.
All right, right now. So I listen to a lot of chopped and screwed music, you know?
Yeah.
Do you know what that is? It's like
Yeah,
when
yeah.
you slow it down. So I'm listening to Solange, chopped and screwed, Tame Impala, chopped and screwed, Frank Ocean, chopped and screwed. So all chopped and screwed.
Yeah.
I would say Forest by Us by Solange.
All my niggas, whole world know.
Siegfried and Skylight 2 by Frank Ocean.
Got your medal, oh, we're alone.
And then Tame Impala, the song Gossip. Chopped and Screwed is magnifique. And The Less I Know, the Better. Chopped and Screwed too. Yeah.
Someone said we live together. All right out the door together.
RIP DJ Screw, and I'm gonna take my codeine
Yes,
syrup.
bruh. Yes. Can you play DJ Screw as the outro music for this interview? That'd be dope.
So you have a very self-centered question. Do you listen to remixes of your own music?
Sometimes. What's chopped and screwed? It's kind of like, it sounded like it was just slowed down. Is that an artist? Is that like a...
I think it's DJ Screw who actually introduced the whole style of it, and then lots of people
okay.
did it.
Okay, cool. Because I've seen a bit of that on YouTube and stuff, like just slowing songs down. Okay. That's funny because we sometimes do that on Ableton, like
Yeah.
on the recording software I use. We kind of just slow and like you know DJ tables, you can slow stuff down. It just sounds amazing. But remixes, yeah, sometimes. Like sometimes when I'm just deep in YouTube viewing, I'll see a cover of my song, and then that leads to another cover, and I'll just keep watching covers. It's kind of self-indulgent. It's kind of something I do late at night. It has to be late at night for me to do. I mean,
I have one last question, and I'm not sure how important it is, so that's why I kept it for the end of the interview. So your name is Tame Impala, right? So I have to ask you, I've read that actually you had no special interest in impalas. Then why the name Tame Impala?
it's a very good question.
Because they're so cute. I mean, Look at them.
Are they cool? I don't know about cute.
They're so super cool. Then why the name?
Look, I mean, I wanted it to be an African animal because I don't really know why, except that my parents were both born there.
Which makes one reason.
Sorry?
Which makes one good reason.
It makes a good reason, yeah, you're right. Other than that, I guess just from all the kind of, like we used to have wildlife books on sort of like African animals, like game animals and stuff, if that's what they call them. And just when I was trying to think of a name, like I think of a cool animal, just Impala was just the first thing I thought of. Literally just the first animal I thought of.
They're the coolest.
They are pretty cool.
Thank you so much, Kevin.
Of course, thanks, man.
I have to say that The Slow Rush, which is going to be released in a couple of days, is an amazing album. Thank you for doing it.
Of course, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you for being here.
Of course.
See
Appreciate
you
it.
soon.
Yeah,
See you in
man.
50 years.
50 years, that's it.
Let's go. Walk it like I talk it. Walk it. Walk it like I talk it. You. Walk it like I talk it. Walk it like I talk it. Hey. I gotta stay in my